Alright guys, today we're going to talk about zero and negative exponents. Okay, starting our new chapter, not really starting it, but we're getting into some new stuff that you might not have been exposed to very much previously. By the end of this lesson, you should be able to simplify expressions with zero and negative exponents, and you should be able to evaluate exponential expressions. Okay. Alright, so kind of a review a little bit. I'll actually move this up some. Okay. Remember when we raise a number to a power or an exponent, we use exponents. What we're saying to do for this first one is 2 times 2 times 2 times 2. 2 times itself 4 times. Okay, a lot of times people rush through these and you see 2 times 4, 2 times 3. Okay, this is not just multiplication, this is 2 multiplied by itself to this number of times. So 2 times 2 times 2 times 2 is 16. 2 to the third power is 8. 2 squared is 4. Okay, I continue to do that. This is 625, 125, this is 25. This is, I'll do it the other way around so I don't mess up, 100, 1,000, 10,000. Okay. Alright. Okay, so the point of this part's pretty simple. You've done that before. But the point of this is to establish a pattern. Okay. And so zero and negative exponents is what we're working towards. Notice we're decreasing our power each time. So just looking at this first column, what's happening each time? From 16 to 8 to 4. You can pause and think about it, or you can just follow me. What's happening each time is that our number's being divided by 2. 16 divided by 2 is 8, divided by 2 is 4, divided by 2 is 2, which makes sense. 2 to the first power is 2. And that pattern will continue. Okay? 2 divided by 2 is 1. Okay? I'm going to keep fractions here because it makes it easier for us to notice the pattern. 1 divided by 2 is 1/2. 1/2 divided by 2 is 1/4. 1/4 divided by 2 is 1/8. Okay? And I'm going to continue, and you can as well, filling these out just so we can talk about what's consistent. 5, 1/5, 1 over 20, oops, sorry, 5, 0, 0. 1 over 20, or 1 over 5 now. Mess up once and it's all behind you. And then 1 over 25. Okay, that's 10. That's 1. How many times did I have to mess up on that? 5 divided by 5, pattern that I was talking about just a second ago. I keep messing up. Okay. Goes to show you I'm only almost perfect. Okay. Alright. So, if you can erase these big red blotches from your mind. Okay. Alright, so notice this pattern. Here, it divides by 2 each time. Notice our base is 2. Here, divides by 5 each time because that's our base. Here, divides by 10 each time. Okay, a couple things I want to point out. Notice that our exponents are negative, but our numbers aren't negative. Okay, our exponents will not make our number negative. Okay. But our pattern continues, and I want you to see this. Notice 2 to the 1, 2 to the negative 1. What changes? Well, with 2 to the 1, 2 is in our numerator. With 2 to the negative 1, 2 is in our denominator. 2 squared, 4 is in our numerator. 2 to the negative 2, 4 is in our denominator. And that happens everywhere. 5 squared, we have 25 in our numerator. 5 to the negative 2, 1 over 25 in our denominator. What this negative exponent does, as my paper continues to get crooked, what this negative exponent does is it moves the number into the denominator. Okay, It's a lot easier to deal with these as fractions than decimals. So if you guys are using your calculator, you might not want to, okay, to see those things. Okay. All right. Another thing that I want you guys to notice, look at all these 0 powers. 2 to the 0, 5 to the 0, 10 to the 0. Anything to the 0 power is 1. Okay, so 2 rules we should pull from this. Any number to the 0 power is 1. 5 to the 0, 1. Okay, continue to mess up there. Negative 2 to the 0, even though it's negative. Negative 2 to the 0, 1. A fraction, 1/3 to the 0, 1. Okay, any number to the 0 power is 1. Any non-zero number. I guess if you do 0 to the 0 power, I think your calculator explodes or something. Okay. Continuing on, for any number, any non-zero number, we have a to a negative exponent. All that happens is we have 1 over, and I'm not going to simplify this, but I'll just show you that it's 6 to the 4th. Whatever 6 to the 4th is, it would be in the denominator. 1 over negative 8 to the 1st. Notice now that this is a negative exponent, what we do is we move it to the denominator, and that's what's been happening. We moved it to the denominator here. Another way we could write this, if you wanted to see that up here, is 1 over 2 squared. Notice that's the same thing. Okay? Alright, so with that, we've got some examples to run through. Alright, so simplify. When we simplify, what we cannot have 0 exponents and we cannot have negative exponents in our final answer. What I want you to think of is making sure that you keep exponents with their base. Okay, so this exponent negative 3 goes with x, just with x. Okay, in our final answer we can't have a negative exponent, and so in order to simplify, what we'll do is we'll say, okay, this is negative. If it's negative, I have to move it. Okay, so I'm going to move this to the denominator. Y has a positive exponent, it's 1. You actually don't see it, but it's positive. 4 is fine, it has a positive exponent, it's 1. You don't see it, but it's positive. Okay, and so the only thing that needs to move is this x and this 3. So 4 and y are fine at the top. X needs to move to the bottom because this this exponent was negative. We move it to the bottom, this exponent is now positive. Okay, and so this is our answer simplified, 4y over x cubed. Looking at this next example, you can pause it if you think you got a clue, but if not, follow me along with me. We have 1 over w to the negative 4th. Now in this case, w is negative, but it's in the denominator. So what we'll do is we'll move it to the numerator. Okay, and now we move it to the numerator. W to the 4th is now positive. It's up there with 1. We don't really need to write 1. Okay, and then 1's in the denominator, but again, we don't need to really write 1. Okay, so here are 2 things simplified. All right, our last example says evaluate. Remember, evaluate just means plug in and simplify. When you have to evaluate terms like this, it's always best to simplify the expression and then plug it in. Okay, a lot of people just want to plug in the numbers and type it into their calculators. It doesn't work because I will want a fractional answer. Okay, I will not want a decimal answer. Okay, and so in order to do this, you should notice really quickly that we have a negative exponent. We need to change that. Okay, so I'm going to move that to the denominator. I have 3m squared over t squared. Okay, and from there now I'm going to plug in and simplify. So I have 3 times 2 squared over negative 3 squared. 2 squared is 4. 3 times 4 over, remember that negative 3 squared is a positive number, it's 9. Okay, so I have 12 over 9, which I can simplify to 4/3. All right, so we've seen zero exponents, we've seen negative exponents, we've simplified. You should be ready for that, and hopefully you're ready for